Okay, I got cut off. For some reason, my video screencast program cut me off at 10 rather than 15, so I was not anticipating that. So we'll start back here. Um, so how many times do you think it's gonna print below freezing? Take a moment and just test this out. So all the time, right? I hope you tested it out or at least have thought through it. All the time it's going to print below freezing, regardless. Even if you have something say that's a positive measure of temperature, it will print above freezing, below freezing. So no. Okay, again, um, would this do the same thing? So notice what's changed is the order of our conditional statements has changed. So let's see. First we test for perfect equality to 0 at freezing. Okay. Then we move on to our else if temperature less than or equal below freezing. But why do we have that equality? And is that going to affect anything? Think to yourself. And then else above. So is that going to be the same? Think about a positive case, a 0 case, a negative case. A positive case, we're going to get to above freezing, right? And we would here also. Negative case, we're going to get to below freezing, and we would here as well. What about 0? What's it going to print? At freezing, below freezing. Because remember, when you do your conditional statements and you combine it with the else if option here, it's going to continue running until it gets to the final concluding else statement. So this equality right here kind of creates a problem. Plus, it's not very logical to me. We can't, I, I think very much strictly in categories. You can't have something that fits in both of these. And here 0 fits in both of these. And they should have two different, and then it will end up with two different labels. No, it doesn't make sense. So no. Okay, another concept test. So x, this is kind of like that first. X is set to be the value 5. If it's less than 15, we move on. If it's greater than, well, and let's stop there. So notice this if statement matches indentation wise with this else. So the fact that we have something less than 15 means we will not evaluate or run the sequence of statements and concluded in or included in the else part here. Had we a value such as 20, we would have skipped through all of this and gone straight, of course, to here. Okay, but we have something smaller, so we're going to go within this sequence of statements. This is our new sequence of statements. It happens to be another if statement. So this is what we call a nested if statement because one is nested within a larger. And what would be the output? Take a moment to think through it. All right, hopefully you've settled on an output. I'm going to explain what I chose and then why. Well, maybe why first. I go in here because x is smaller than 15. I evaluate this. It's not a true statement. X is not bigger than 5. I mean, than 8. So I will not print 1. Instead, I'll move on to the else statement here and print 2. So the answer is 2. Here's another example of nested if statements. Okay, enter your pH value. I actually have code written up for this that I can give you. If the length of S is bigger than 0, meaning something was entered, then we change it to a floating point and then we make a determination based upon this. Else, no pH value was given is returned. Notice here, we're assuming a lot about the user. I always think about the user, especially when writing user-friendly functions. Well, this is not in functional form yet. That's another problem. What if they enter a character? What's going to happen here? So you want to think about those things, and it's not well set up at this point. All right, so we'll run through that code in class, but for right now, here's just another example of these nested ifs, because if the length is bigger than 0, then we evaluate it as, we change it to a floating point value, then we evaluate it for its level, pH level. Otherwise, we say no pH is given. All right, so we'll stop there. We'll run through this code and make sure we understand all the details, but I think the structure is common enough that it'll be pretty easy to pick up, especially after R.